Happy game day and welcome to the Unlimited Sports Preview Show. I'm Trey Marler, joined by Brady Alderson and Justice Rode. Each day on the show we'll have breakdowns of both Nebraska and Akron, as well as the other top games around the country.
A review of last week's win over Cincinnati.
And we'll be joined by the KRNU crew who will have our broadcast on our student radio this evening.
This is the Unlimited Sports Preview Show on Nebraska Nightly. Welcome back. Nebraska football in action for the first time of the 2025 campaign at home inside Memorial Stadium. Coming off a 2017 win over Cincinnati and Arrowhead last Thursday. Brady and Justice, you guys were both there. What impressed you about Nebraska last week?
The thing that impressed me the most was their efficiency on third down. 10 for 18 on third down, over 50%. They were able to get it done. Raiola and Danke had a great connection on third downs early.
I thought the secondary was absolutely incredible. Hats off to both Sierra Wright and Andrew Marshall holding it down on the boundaries. And how about the linebacking core? Vincent Shavers, boy, was he cracking skulls.
Now turn the page to Akron this week. Of course, big news, Matt Rhule announced on Monday. Janiran Bonner out for the season with a torn ACL. Sounds like Carter Nelson be the one to step up. Brady, your initial thoughts?
Carter Nelson was a wide receiver last season, listed as a tight end this season. We'll see if he steps into more of a hybrid wide receiver tight end role, if they'll just go to a true tight end with Carter Nelson.
Here is what Nebraska offensive coordinator Dana Holgorsen said about Nelson in a press conference on Tuesday.
He's just now getting his legs underneath him. I mean, he didn't do anything for 6 months. Now he's back. I see what Carter is now. Okay, so now it's just about the opportunity. It's about logging the reps. It's about putting him in position, putting him in the game. I think he got 5 reps last week. That's not enough. He's going to get more. And I'm excited about what he can turn into.
Nebraska head coach Matt Rhule announced Monday that Janiran Bonner would miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL. Rhule directly alluded to his successor in the offense as the Huskers head man tabbed Carter Nelson as the candidate to replace Bonner's role. Nelson certainly fits the bill physically. The 6'5", 240-pound tight end out of Ainsworth was the #1 recruit in the state of Nebraska in 2024 and a top 100 player in the country as well. Nelson played in all 13 games last season, hauling in 10 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. Both Rhule and Dana Holgorsen stretched the importance of Bonner, but also emphasized that Nelson was ready to shoulder the role with his play in practice.
Now turning the page to the defense, guys. John Butler was pleased with his team's performance last week, but the box will definitely be tested against some pressure against an Akron team that likes to sling the rock.
Yeah, no sacks last week for Nebraska is definitely concerning. They're going to look for Nwaneri, who led the defense in tackles, to try and step up and get some pressure on that defensive front.
And you saw that Nebraska early in the game tried to manufacture pressures. This is going to have to be a game where the talent and physical dominance asserts itself early on if they want to be successful against the Zips.
Coming up after the break, we'll introduce you to the Huskers' opponent, the Akron Zips. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The need for blood never stops. And at the Nebraska Community Blood Bank, your blood could help save lives. Right now, only 7% of the population donates blood. But imagine if there were more.
We're sitting at below a 7-day level of supply of all blood types across the board. So every blood type is important, and we need all donors of all types to come in and donate right now.
At the Nebraska Community Blood Bank, they believe that all types make a strong blood supply.
Social media is a daily part of many college students' lives, something we've become used to, but it can also be overwhelming and draining. Studies show that taking regular breaks from social media reduces stress and improves mental health. Too much screen time has been proven to increase anxiety, while stepping away helps you reconnect with the world around you. Take a break. Protect your mental health.
Many of the brands you love don't love animals like you do. Look at the labels of products you use for a bunny logo signifying they don't lab test on animals. Check the label for those who aren't able. Start making the shift by visiting crueltyfreekitty.com today.
To the Unlimited Sports pregame show, Nebraska Athletics gave me the opportunity to tour the new production studio for Husker Vision and Husker Radio Network on Tuesday. The 25,000 square foot facility cost $12 million and was designed and built by Beck TV.
Joe Moorhead in his 4th season with the Zips, compiling an 8-27 record so far, with the most recent setback being a 10-0 loss to the Wyoming Cowboys. The big piece Akron returns is quarterback Ben Finley, who compiled 2,604 passing yards with 16 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, while gathering 271 yards on the ground in 2024. Finley's Achilles heel last season was his accuracy, as he only completed 54.8% of his passes, ranking towards the bottom of the MAC. The Zips lost 4 of their top 5 receivers to the transfer portal, but retained both of their tight ends, Jake Newell and Connor Kravach. Brady, what do you like about the Zips this evening?
Well, their defense was great. They only allowed that touchdown in the final 5 minutes. They went 54 minutes of play without allowing a touchdown, so it will be a tough test for Raiola and that Nebraska offense.
Akron is coming off a 10-0 loss last Saturday versus Wyoming, and here's what Coach Moorhead had to say following the Week 1 contest.
The team was kind of what I said at the beginning here, that our defense played well enough for us to win the football game.
You already did this.
Offensively,
yeah,
we did not, and missed some opportunities. But at the end of the day, when you get shut out, it's not close to being good enough.
Coming up on the Unlimited Sports Preview Show, we take you around the country for some of the top games in college football. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay, so how about this much?
I don't know.
Well, how about this much?
I don't know.
How about...
Actually, I don't know.
Okay, maybe this much?
I don't know.
The very tip of your pencil, a fraction of a raindrop, 3 grains of salt. That's how much it takes for a dose of fentanyl to become lethal. Learn more at realdealonfentanyl.com.
Done for the day?
Yeah, just kind of maxed out on people.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
Thanks for asking. I have been feeling just kind of off lately.
Do you want me to
Concerned about a friend? Just ask and refer them to counseling and psychological services at UNL.
Welcome back to the Limited Sports Preview Show. To get a look at other games around the country, let's toss it over to Olivia Davenport and Abby McFarland.
Thanks, Trey. In-state rivals Iowa and Iowa State facing off at 11 a.m. Saturday in Ames at Jack Trice Stadium. 16th-ranked Iowa State looking for its 3rd win of the season. They played in Ireland during Week 0, beating Kansas State 24-21, and then dominated South Dakota last week 55-7. They are led by quarterback Rocco Becht. He led the charge last week, completing 33 of 48 passes for 461 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Iowa Hawkeyes are coming off a win at home over Albany, 34-7. Iowa, with a new quarterback, Mark Gronowski. He struggled with his pass game, only completing 8 of his 15 passes for 44 yards and 1 touchdown. 5 of the last 7 games have been one-score contests. More than likely, this game will come down to a field goal. Both teams with impressive kickers. For the Hawkeyes, it's Drew Stevens. He's 2 for 2 this season, hitting his career length 55 yards last week. And for the Cyclones, it's Kyle Conradi. He hit a 63-yarder last week, both teams with the strength to get it done from deep. Iowa State, 3.5-point favorites. Can they get it done at home for the first time in 5 years?
I feel like they could, but Liv, the real question is, who are you going for this weekend? You're from Iowa.
I'll be wearing my black and gold this weekend. Go Hawks.
Another Big Ten team facing off against a ranked opponent, the Michigan Wolverines take on the Oklahoma Sooners in one of the most anticipated matchups of the season. The Wolverines came into the game with 2 freshmen making their debut, Justice Haynes and Bryce Underwood. Haynes, a running back who transferred from Alabama, had 3 touchdowns during his first game as a Wolverine. Bryce Underwood, the highly recruited senior, finished 21 for 31 with 250 yards and a touchdown. On Saturday, Sooners' new quarterback John Meter passed for 392 yards and 3 touchdowns against Illinois State, establishing a new passing record for an OU quarterback in their first game. An SEC versus a Big Ten matchup, it's the battles with the young stars. Haynes and Underwood are powering a Michigan. Oklahoma continues its season to get the win over one of the best defense in the country.
Now looking outside the Big Ten, not an in-state rivalry, but instead a border showdown. Missouri taking on Kansas at home for the first time in 11 years. Both teams coming off impressive wins last week. Kansas beat Wagner 46-7 and Missouri won 61-6 over Central Arkansas. Kansas also won in Week 0 over Fresno State 31-7. Both teams put up big offensive numbers. Kansas QB Jalen Daniels had a monstrous week, throwing for 456 yards with 7 touchdowns and an interception. Missouri quarterback Bo Perbula, the transfer from Penn State, was 23 for 28 with 283 yards and 2 touchdowns. Defense will certainly have to be a high priority this week. Kansas defense under second season coordinator DK McDonald, last season they held opponents to 26 points per game, the fewest points allowed since 2007. Missouri defense also under a second-year coordinator in Corey Batoon. Batoon helped the defense jump from 33rd to 5th nationally in third down conversion percentage. I would expect to see a high-scoring game. The over-under is set at 50.5. Trey, Justice, Brady, back over to you guys at the Sports Desk.
Thank you, Liv and Abby. Full slot of games this weekend. Justice, what matchup pops off the page for you?
I think you got to go to the in-state rivalry here, Trey. The Cy-Hawk game, Iowa State. There's going to be 2 highly touted quarterbacks in that game. Mark Gronowski had a ton of hype coming over from the FCS in South Dakota State, and Rocco Becht, the incumbent, coming in after a great season last year, looking to build off her performance. Already had a strong start against Kansas State and then backed it up last week. These are 2 quarterbacks that are looking to pop off the page, but don't forget Iowa's defense returned a lot of that experience in the secondary and especially along the defensive line. They got to get after Beck and make him uncomfortable.
Yeah, Justice, for me, I've got that Michigan-Oklahoma game. You got 2 quarterbacks, the true freshman Bryce Underwood going up against John Mateer. College game day is going to be there. You know they expect a good one. I think fans could be entertained on that one on Saturday.
Yeah, for me, I love this KU-MU matchup. First time in over a decade these teams have played. Last time they played was 2011. Mizzou won 24-10. Kansas 6.5-point dogs. Hope they cover that one. First time they played in a decade. Fans are really excited for this.
Coming up after the break, we'll introduce you to the KRNU radio team for tonight's contest, and they'll provide their 3 keys to the game.
Nearly 1 in 3 Husker students struggle with food insecurity. Husker Pantry addresses food insecurity and a welcoming space by providing free food and personal items to UNL students in need. Due to high demand, the pantry often runs out of essential items. Help keep the pantry stocked by donating the most needed items. From canned food to personal items and cleaning supplies, you can make a difference by donating. Learn how to donate by visiting pantry.unl.edu.
Of the 40 million tons of plastic waste generated in the U.S. in 2021, only 5% or 2 million tons was recycled. Make sure you do your part in keeping Anderson Hall clean. For more information on recycling statistics, visit epa.gov today.
Welcome back inside the studios. We're now joined by the voices of tonight's game on 90.3 KRNU, Beck Frazier and Talon Strong for the KRNU Keys to the Game.
I'm Beck Frazier, and sitting next to me is my broadcast partner, Talon Strong, for tonight's game against the Akron Zips. We have 3 keys for the Nebraska Cornhuskers to leave Memorial Stadium with a victory. The first key is the Nebraska defense.
Against Cincinnati, the Cornhuskers allowed over 200 yards on the ground, with Bearcats QB Brendan Sorsby picking up 96. However, the defense was stout against the pass, only giving up 13 completions for 69 yards and grabbing the game-winning interception.
Yeah, and the Nebraska defense looked really good. We can't forget that fumble that they got at the end of the first half, and scoring a touchdown off of that fumble as well.
It was a real momentum shifter. Vincent Shavers forces the fumble. It leads to a Dylan Raiola to an Isaiah Hunter touchdown that put the Huskers up 10 going into the second half.
Yeah, the second key for Nebraska is avoiding third downs. Head coach Matt Rule said on Monday that even though the Huskers converted over 50% of third downs, they had way too many third downs.
So, we had 18, we were 10 of 18 on third down, and one of them, and also we're 1 and 2 on fourth down. So you're 61% on, I think it's 61% on, I think that's what they said to me, on third down, but you're in way too many third downs. You can't be an 18th.
Look for Akron to put the Cornhuskers in the same situations that they had their week 1 opponent, Wyoming, in 20 third down situations, allowing only 9 conversions.
Yeah, and Akron, hailing from the Mid-American Conference, playing an opponent like Wyoming, it was a 10-0 loss for this Akron team, but that defense played really well. Nebraska had a ton of third downs against Cincinnati, 20 now for Akron against Wyoming. We could see the same things here this week.
Well, Akron really made the Cowboys work for everything they got, allowing just the game-winning touchdown in so many words in the last 5 minutes. They're going to make them work exactly like Cincinnati did against Nebraska. So expect the same amount, but you're hoping to get those first downs on first and second.
Now, the third key point for the Huskers is running back Emmett Johnson. The junior had his second career game with more than 100 rushing yards last week, averaging 4.3 yards per carry on 25 attempts, and saw the most targets at Arrowhead, where he added 27 receiving yards.
It was an impressive day for Johnson, and look for him and the other backs to have major success as Wyoming ran all over the Zips for 167 yards on 39 attempts.
Yeah, and Wyoming, we only saw them get the 1 touchdown, but having that many yards against this Akron defense, you would expect Nebraska to do the same thing, and we've seen since Matt Rule has been here, he's been running multiple running backs per game. So yes, we point out Emmett Johnson, but look for multiple running backs to get the nod there against the Zips.
Well, it was Emmett Johnson who was the workhorse in that first week against Cincinnati, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Mekhi Nelson and Isaiah Mosey in this ballgame a ton as they want to get this running back depth going. But as Rule has stated, that Emmett Johnson is running back 1 for the majority of this season.
Tune in for Danny Berg's pregame tonight at 6, then join Talon and I at 6:30 for kickoff against the Akron Zips. Listen in Lincoln on 90.3 KRNU or anywhere on KRNU's streaming website. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Talon and Beck. Couple more minutes left on the show here. Brady and Justice, final thoughts.
Talon Beck said it, but Emmett Johnson, 32 touches. That's just too much to sustain over an entire season. So look to get some more running backs involved against Akron.
Yeah, it's just like you said. You got to get Mekhi Nelson involved, get Isaiah Mosey more touches. Quinn Knives coming back off the injury. How does he look? And I think the defensive line has to get more of a push up front. Riley Van Poppel, Elijah Judy, Cam Lenhart, Williams Winery, Desan McCullough, whoever they throw up there has got to get into the Zips backfield and make life uncomfortable, stop the run game, put Finley under pressure, and make Moorhead have to go deeper into the playbook than he could ever want to.
And all eyes on that left tackle position. Coach Matt Rule announced on Thursday Gunnar Gatula is going to start at that left tackle. I know him and Elijah Pritchett kind of flipped reps last week and Thursday, but Gunnar Gatula going to start at that left tackle position tonight for the Huskers. And Justice, score prediction.
I got to go 45-3 here. I think Nebraska looks dominant. I think this is a complete tune-up game in all facets. They alleviate concerns, and they walk out of Memorial with everybody feeling good and a light show.
48-10. I think Akron to cover. I think the line is 38, I believe. 48-10, my final score.
Just what about that Michigan-Oklahoma game? Who you got?
Oh, that Michigan-Oklahoma game is going to be tough. I think I got to roll with the Sooners in that one. John Mateer, Ben Arbuckle. They brought in Jaden Ott from Cal. I think they got a retooled offense. This is a game to take advantage of an inexperienced freshman quarterback in Bryce Underwood. I like the Sooners in that one, 31-17.
Brady? Michigan-Oklahoma? Who you got?
Give me Oklahoma. Oklahoma's going to get it done.
Just with the Iowa State series. Cyhawk.
I think this one stays low scoring here, guys. I don't know if this one's really going to have a ton of points piled onto it. I'll take Iowa by a field goal, 13-10. This is a complete slugfest to the end.
Brady?
Iowa State again. I think Big 12 gets it done over Big 10 this time.
Then we'll finish up Kansas-Missouri border war. Justice, give us your thoughts.
Oh, boy. I mean, that's two really solid teams here. Eli Drinkwitz really like what he has. The Penn State transfer, Bo Prabula, coming in. He had a solid game last week against Central Arkansas, but I think I got to lean Kansas. I love what Jaden Daniels has going. I love what Lance Leipold's built in another year. In Lawrence, I just love the Jayhawks in this one. Narrowly, give me Kansas 24-21.
Yeah, Kansas. I think Kansas is going to cover. I don't know if they're going to win like Justice, but I think Kansas covers the 6.5, but Mizzou might just have too much for them.
Thank you all for tuning into this episode of the Limited Sports Preview Show. For Justice Rhodey and Brady Alderson and our entire production team working behind the scenes to make this all happen, I'm Trey Marler. Enjoy your college football Saturday.